What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and this is my review of Terrifier 2, brand new horror film that just dropped earlier this month, directed by Damien Leone. It stars Lauren Lavera, Elliot Fullam, Sarah Voigt, Kailey Hyman, and Casey Harnett. All right, what did I think about this movie? Look, this thing wasn't even on my radar until somebody mentioned it in the comments of one of the videos, right? They're saying, oh, you like these horror films? You'll love this particular horror film. Go check out Terrifier 2. So I said, okay, me and my boys were big horror fans. You know, we try to see all the horror films that we can. And I said, sure, let's go ahead and check this out, guys. We got some time. Listen, thank you, whoever it was that pointed that out in the comments, because this movie is phenomenal. Had a blast the entire time I was in the theaters. Okay, now don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. Okay, it's not a perfect film, but it's a ton of fun. Goes right back to the 80s, practical effects, splatter porn, man, just splashing the screen and the walls and everything that's around with bloody guts. Just amazing practical effects, knocked it out of the park. Okay, if you're a slasher horror film junkie, if you like slasher films, you really need to check this film out. I'm not kidding, okay? This thing is dynamite. And it's a simple premise, a simple plot. Lauren Lavera, she plays, and I'm gonna get to her in a minute, okay? But she plays Sienna, right? And this girl is a high school girl. She's going through some trauma because her father passed away. And what she's doing is, this is Halloween coming up. She's making an outfit that her father actually drew. Okay, there's like this notebook of her father's drawings, and one of the things he drew was this battle armored angel, right? And he drew this out, and she's making the costume herself, and that's what she's going to be for Halloween. Okay, but this kind of notebook has this kind of other material in it that her little brother is going through. I think his name is Jonathan. And he's going through this notebook, and he's like, there's some weird kind of stuff that dad was drawing in this book, and it seems to have something to do with this Art the Clown, right? This murderous psychopath that killed 9 people last year. All right, so that's the only spoiler I'm gonna give you on that. Go check this thing out because it's really good. Amazing work on the practical effects. For me, it's just not a scary film. It's very suspenseful. Okay, so it has some moments of suspense, and it has, you know, great splatter, gore, blood and guts all over the screen. Okay, it does that really well. But what's really fun about it is it's really a comedy. Okay, it's really a comedy. And this Art the Clown character, this guy is a straight up horror icon. If you go see this, you're gonna love this character because he's hilarious, he's funny, he's kind of like part Jason, Michael Myers, and Freddy, kind of all wrapped up into one. And just his personality and you know, he's kind of witty, he's kind of funny, but he doesn't talk, right? He's a clown. He's got, you know, I guess he's a mime. Art the Clown is the next icon, in my opinion. Remember, I was just saying this, right? We need new slasher icons, okay? This guy deserves a bigger platform, in my opinion. You know, Art the Clown is incredibly hilarious. He's scary, he's diabolical, he's evil, he's a menace, he's a maniac, okay? And he does it with this relish, just gleefully. You know, it's such an interesting take on a slasher character. I love it. Absolutely. Art the Clown needs more love. He needs to really be out there in front of the horror genre. And I know the hardcore horror heads, they're all out there loving this thing. I'm just now discovering it. I got to go back and watch Terrifier, the first one, because I haven't seen that one, okay? So now I got to go back and watch that. But yeah, Terrifier 2. Not a lot to say. I don't want to spoil anything, to be quite honest with you. I want people to go and see this for themselves. If you're a horror junkie, you're going to love it. I will say this, however, as far as the story is concerned, it's about a good half hour too long, okay? It just keeps kind of going on and on. There's a lot of drag at the beginning, right? The beginning is where it drags, okay? By the time Art the Clown gets into it and he starts doing his thing, it's on and popping after that, okay? But the beginning stuff, and then there's kind of this middle section where there's a club scene, and it's kind of like, okay, helps flesh out Lauren Lavera's character, but it just drags on too long, okay? That scene could have probably been about 2 or 3 minutes shorter, and it would have been just fine, okay? There was no reason for that to be going on and on and on. And then there's some drag out because they're just gonna stay with this violence, and they're just gonna stay with this gore, and that's fine too, all right? But it's a little long in the tooth. This movie probably needed to be somewhere clocking in around 105 minutes. That's enough of the story, and it would have made it a lot cleaner, a lot tighter, and a lot better. But nevertheless, I think this is a good movie. Now, Lauren Lavera, legit scream queen. This chick, I don't know where they found her, okay? I don't know if they did a casting call or they just stumbled over her working somewhere and just say, hey, why don't you be in a movie? You look like you can act or whatever. I'm pretty sure that I'm just messing around. I'm pretty sure that she's, been acting and pulling this thing, because this chick knows her shit. She is a great actress, and she made for a great screen queen. I want to see her story continue just based on the way that she played it out. The character itself is just kind of like, yeah, okay, sure. Character, we've seen these characters played out a million times, but she plays this thing out with gusto, okay? With grit, with energy, with a fierceness, and I hate saying that word, but that's kind of what it is. She's very, very fierce, and she's exactly what you would look for in a scream queen for a horror franchise. She's exactly what you look for, okay? Like Nancy Thompson, okay? Like Nancy Thompson fierceness, taking care of business, doing what she needs to do to take out Freddy. She's kind of in that exact same vein, okay? We haven't seen a scream queen like this in a long time. This chick needs to be getting work, okay? That's all I know. She needs to be getting work. Somebody out there, this movie is gonna, if it hasn't made her a career already, if people aren't already aware of who she is, they will soon become, because I think Lauren Lavera is a legit actress, and I can't wait to see what else she has in store for her career. But anyway, folks, let's go ahead and check out the scoreboard for this movie, Terrifier 2, and I'll go a little bit deeper. All right, so here we go. The scores for Terrifier 2. First up, of course, is direction. It was directed by Damien Leone. Listen, I never heard of the guy before, okay? Straight up, haven't seen any of his movies. Can't tell you a thing about him, all right? I did see an interview with him, though, right? Like, right after watching this, I was, like, checking out, like, hey, who made this? And I watched an interview of him, and he said, like, yeah, when he was a kid, he took his mother took him to see horror movies and all that kind of stuff, and that's kind of what started him on this train. Hey, that's a good mom right there. But overall, I thought that his direction was really solid, like this kind of a story, and this type of a movie really relies on the guts, the blood and the guts, and then just the fun, right? Just the fun. This character that you see right on here, Art the Clown, is a ton of fun, okay? Exactly what I was just saying. We need original serial killer, horror movie villains, okay, in the slasher genre. We need some good ones, okay? And I didn't realize, like I said, that this guy even existed. He is a good one. This is also the writer as well as the director, Damien Leone. So he did a really good job putting this character together, and then acting it out, directing it out, making sure that he got exactly what he wanted out of it. All right. I think his direction of the actors in this particular film is absolutely great, spot on. Okay. And then, like, just the way the camera moves in certain situations. Okay. This guy studied, he knows how to scare people. But like I said, for me, it was really about the comedy. As a horror junkie, it's not really that scary. But for regular people, I can see this thing being absolutely terrifying and horrifying, okay? But I think it's a brilliant film, well-paced in spots, okay? Like I said, it does kind of linger on certain scenes just a little bit too long, right? With films and scenes, you're supposed to arrive late and leave early, right? So this thing kind of gets long in the tooth in certain scenes, okay? Like I said, specifically that club scene just kind of went a little bit too long. It didn't need to be that long. The murders and all that stuff, fine. Stay on that, because that's what we're here for anyway, okay? But, some of the extra scenes, some of the stuff at the very beginning, with this girl and her mother and her brother, hey, get on past that, we set it up. We know what these kids are about. This woman is a single mom and she's struggling from the death of the dad. We got all of that established in about 5-10 minutes at the beginning. That's the only time you need to come back to it, okay? Then let's just get more art. That just leaves you more time for more art. But nevertheless, great job by this guy. I'm going to go ahead and give him an 8.0. All right, next up is script and story. So, if there was a weakness, of course, you know me, I'm always going to say it's in the script and the story. Now, again, part of the reason that it is weak is because it's just too damn long, okay? It's like the last, hour, it seems, of this movie takes place in one location, right? And that was fine. I actually liked the location that he chose to set this in at the end of the film. I absolutely loved that. However, it just took too long to get there. And like I said, that club stuff that takes place in the middle of the film just kind of interrupts. Just get to the location that you gotta where the final battle and everything is going to take place, and more murders and scares. You could put all of that stuff there too. You know, it was just too much. The story's too long, and it didn't need to be. You know, now dialogue was a little choppy too. Okay, we're gonna have to work on that. I think that the dialogue could be a lot better. It could be a little bit punchier. For the most part, I think that this still works overall. The script is still good. The story was good. There is the one story thread about the Notebook. Okay, the Notebook. It's mentioned early. It's mentioned often. We keep coming back to it, but it's never resolved. That's a problem. That's a big problem. And maybe they're saving it for the sequel. I can see where they would be doing that. But then that's where you don't like keep returning to it over and over and over again. Maybe you just throw it out there, mention it once. Hey, Dad wrote a notebook and it has all this stuff in it. And then that's it. You know, you don't ever come back to it. You don't keep talking about it because it makes it seem like this is going to be something that will be resolved in this film. And it might be, but it's not really clear. You know, there's something that happens in this particular film that takes place at the end that's like, okay, we're going there, that's fine. You know, it's supernatural world time, nothing wrong with that. Okay, but I just didn't see that coming, and it was kind of weird. It was kind of a weird way to end this film, which was doing great, you know, all the way through. So I'm interested to see what happens in Terrifier 3, okay, and see if he can kind of square that circle, because that was a little weird. That problem absolutely did take the script and the story down a couple of notches. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the script and the story a 6.5. All right, next up, acting. Like I already said, Lauren Lavera, and then I guess this guy who plays Art the Clown, David Howard Thornton, they're the stars of the show, man. They hold the acting. All the other actors are just fine. They're good. They're fine. Nothing wrong with them, okay? But these two that you see on the screen right here, this is really their film, and both of these absolutely own the screen every single time they're on it. Even when she's just sitting around making her little outfit or her little costume, you know, she's fascinating to look at. She's an interesting character, okay? And then this guy over here, the clown, I mean, like I said, he's a horror icon just waiting to happen, okay? And he's hilarious. He's funny. He's fun to watch. When he's on the screen, I'm not scared. I'm like, what's he gonna do next? Again, has the Freddy Krueger kind of feel where Freddy is scary, but then he's also funny, you know, that kind of thing. So I like the two of these particular characters. I hope they run a trilogy right now. This is part 1. Let's see part 2 and part 3 with both of these cats. The final showdown, I would absolutely love it. Like I said, the rest of the acting is okay. You know, it's okay. But these two actors that you see on the screen right here, these two actors take that okay acting by everybody else and just elevate it up a couple of notches from the okay territory to the good territory. I'm going to give acting a 7.5. All right, and then finally we get to the sights and the sounds. Okay, what did I say? This thing is just blood and guts all over the screen. It is a splatter porn movie, okay? And I've heard that people were passing out in the theaters. People were losing their lunch in the theaters. Somebody had to get an ambulance called on them because of this film. Hey, he did the work, okay? This thing is just bloody as it wants to be. You know, I thought the blood choice was really good too, okay? Because it doesn't come off as just bright red. It's kind of like a dull reddish brown, but it looks really good on the screen. And when everybody is just covered in it, oh man, I can't say anything more about it. Soundtrack was solid too. Good use of music, good use of the lighting and the cameras. The final hour where this thing takes place, perfect location for a horror film, and it had everything that you could possibly want in it at that moment in time. I think that the sights and sounds were phenomenal. I'm gonna go ahead and give those an 8.0 as well. And then we get to the final score. Of course, if you add everything up and you do the math, you get to a 7.5. All right, so that's my review of Terrifier 2. Folks, did you have an opportunity to check this film out? Go ahead, leave your comments and thoughts below. All right, let's check it out to the overall scoreboard, and let's see where this thing ranks. All right, folks, so there you go. We got Terrifier 2 coming in at number 17 overall. Again, adding to another good year of horror. I mean, you see all the horror films that I have up here for 2022, and most of them are in the higher rankings. You know, 7.5 and above is what I consider, you know, pretty good. A pretty good movie that I would probably go see more than once in the theater. I'm definitely going to check this one out again. I still have yet to see Pearl. I've just been super busy. I hope I'm able to get out there and check that one out, because I hear that Pearl is actually better than X. And you can see where my where X comes in on my top 5. So let's go ahead and run those down. Of course, Top Gun Maverick still sitting at number 1, X at number 2, The Batman at number 3, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness at number 4, and then Bullet Train at number 5. What does your top 5 look like? What does your movie list look like? If you've seen all the movies, I'm up to 31 movies, and that's kind of a light year for me. You know, I usually have probably seen about 40 or 50 movies by this time, but yeah, 31 nevertheless in the books. Go ahead, folks, give me your rankings in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.